Buckle in, folks. This is probably going to be a long one. Alright, folks, as many may have known, Kenobi just dropped the first 2 episodes. Watched them, took a few days, watched them again. And let's see where we stand on this. A lot of great stuff, a lot of questionable things, some really, where are we going with kind of stuff. Some possible canon breaking. But let's discuss. So, we dropped the first 2 episodes of a 6 episodes, I believe, 6 episodes long. So, boom, pop that up for me, thank you. Alright, so the first episode opens up with a recap of pretty much the prequels. So, we go through pretty much recaps all 3 movies. Just focuses on the movies and nothing else. Then we go to a shot of a bunch of younglings training. Order 66 happens. The troopers come and attack, and their master's trying to protect them. This is actually way better of an Order 66 scene than we got in Revenge of the Sith, where you just kind of implied a lot of stuff. You actually got to see some cool stuff. Some Jedi's getting mowed down. Their master protects them to a point where they end up dying, before she ends up dying. So we get a close up of the younglings all wearing their little Jedi training helmets. It's kind of what it is, because I thought it must look like an Inquisitor. Doesn't for surely say, but I'm going to assume that this here is our younger version of a character we're about to meet. I don't know if the other ones are supposed to be. I guess it's possible. This one could this one could be the 5th. Don't know who these 3 guys would be, but you know, possible those 2 could be possible Inquisitors. Then we go back to our favorite. Well, we get the title, which is like a little sand blowing Obi-Wan Kenobi. Really cool. I like that. I love that effect. I thought that was really cool. Then we're going to our favorite sand planet 10 years later, Tatooine, and we see the Inquisitor ship fly overhead. To just nice dramatic shadow over the people, flying over the people shot. Really cool. Really well done. To which then they exit their ship, and we meet the Grand Inquisitor. That's the 5th brother, and this is the new character, the 3rd sister. So they arrive and they walk through town. They end up going to like this little restaurant cantina thing, and the Grand Inquisitor does this big old speech about how the hunting Jedi, and the Jedi will reveal themselves because they hunt themselves because they force themselves to do good. They can't resist helping people. And he tells a story of how he heard, rumors of a story of a Jedi helping a local business person, and they gave him room and board. Our 3rd sister gets kind of restless. Throws a knife at the guy, which gets caught by the Force. And lo and behold, we have a Jedi on the premises who takes off running, gets cut off by our 3rd sister. They want to take him alive, but she goes to strike him down, and the Grand Inquisitor uses the Force to stop her and push her to the side, which lets the Jedi escape. And we kind of find out that she's a little impatient. She's got some aggression. Gil tastes that she has a bit of obsession with finding Kenobi. for some reason. She thinks that hunting these Jedi's is beneath her, and she wants to hunt bigger people. Then we cut to a scene outside of a dead crate dragon, where it looks like our friend Kenobi has been working as a crate dragon butcher, cutting up, chunks of flesh into, like, I guess, steaks and stuff. As his day wraps up, they're all clocking out and getting their pay. One guy gets shorted on his pay, and the boss man kind of pushes him around. Kenobi watches the whole thing and just says nothing. And then when the guy confronts him, he just does nothing but clock out. So we saw the scene where the Jedi are forced them, can't help themselves to help people. But now we see that Kenobi has gone and completely embarked on a life of staying hidden, and that he's not revealing himself to help others. We cut to the whole thing of Kenobi going to his home. He lives in a cave. So he makes him some dinner. He gets a visit from a traveling Jawa who sells him some stuff. He brings a I forgot the name of it. The toy T1 something, I believe. We kind of see it in A New Hope. It's Luke's playing with it, so looks like it's that toy of Luke's that he's buying off the Jawa. Jawa also sells him a part for his Reaperator, which the Jawa stole, so, kind of joking around with that. Jawa brings up about raiding a Jedi ship in Dune Sea. Kenobi plays that off. Then we have a scene of Kenobi having nightmares of Anakin and the Jedi and Qui-Gon in the past, and he wakes up and he calls out to Qui-Gon and gets no answer, so this kind of shows that Obi-Wan apparently has not mastered the art of being able to commune with Qui-Gon in the 10 years yet. I do highly think that we will get that scene somewhere in this show, that we will see a Force Ghost of Qui-Gon as it has to be a big secret reveal. They have to do it. It's like, come on, we gotta have it. So his nightmares, can't do it. Then cut to the next day. He's sitting on some rocks with some binoculars, watching over the Lars Owens farm, checking out Luke, who's pretending to be a pilot, maybe a pod racer, flight pilot. Then when nightfall comes, Kenobi goes and drops the toy off at the doorstep, and then leaves. On his way back to his play, he gets confronted by the young Jedi I saw earlier. His name was Navi, who's recognizes him as Master Kenobi. He tries to play I'm not him, I'm somebody else. And then when he finally gives in and says it's him, he tells him pretty much, just give up, man. Just hide your light, bury your lightsaber, and just go hide and live a normal life. And of course, you're so changed. So it's showing how he's not one is embarking on the ways that believes that they should still be in the past, and Kenobi is all into the just we have to survive now, and that he is broken. From there, we cut to a green planet, so we jump over to another planet. It starts off with seeing these handmaidens dress up this young girl in these really nice, extravagant clothing. Of course, her face is concealed at the time. And, I mean, it's like instantly you kind of know who you're about to get there. It was obviously who they're tying it out to. The mom comes in to get her and finds out that it's actually an imposter standing in her place. And then we cut to the little girl running through the woods, climbed the tree, and is naming off spaceships. This is obviously Princess Leia. As soon as I saw them, I was like, oh, it's going to be Leia. So, did not expect them to bring in Princess Leia. But they did, and she's a little mischievous kid, wants to, doesn't want to do the fancy senator stuff, so wanting to go and be adventurous and stuff like that. So her mother comes out and finds her, and as they're taken aback, we see that they're being spied on by some mysterious stranger in the woods. Cut back to Tatooine. We see Ben finish another day of butchering. When he gets back to get his ride, his little animal I can't remember what those are called. He gets the toy gets thrown at his feet, and he gets confronted by Owen, who wants him to stay away from Luke, wants nothing to do with him. Stay away from my family. Kind of confronts him, but the deal was that when he shows signs, I have to train him. He's the future, and he brings up Anakin's dead. So first mention of pretty much saying that and you failed Anakin, and you trained Anakin, and Anakin's dead. Move on, leave us, let the kid be, and does it wants Ben's Kenobi just to stay away from him. As they finish their conversation, the Inquisitors show up, and Kenobi starts to hide. They do this whole first. The fifth brother's trying to offer a reward for information, and then the third sister starts threatening, "We will, murder. We're going to slice you, kill you guys if you don't give us the information." Fear. She confronts Owen with asking him if he's hiding the Jedi, and then threatens to kill him and his family unless people step up and give him give out, start giving information. So she's obviously showing super aggression again, and Owen doesn't see it, and then finally the fifth brother steps in, says enough, reward, pops on the puck, it shows the other Jedi's face, and then they walk off. They walk into like an alley where the fifth brother kind of yells at the sister and says, she's losing it, and finally discuss pretty much once again her obsession with Kenobi. She wants to bring in Kenobi to gain favor. Apparently, obviously, with Lord Vader Reveal thing, she wants to become, I guess, Vader's favorite. Kenobi comes out and thanks Owen, and Owen's kind of like, "I didn't do it for you," kind of blah blah blah. And now we're back to Alderaan. So we get our cameos. All right. So we get Jimmy Smits is back, baby, as Bale Organa. So he obviously kind of, knows Leia's more adventurous side. He approves of it. And they have some family coming in, so they're there to greet the family. There's family, and then they go to like a big banquet, and where we get another big cameo that everyone's waiting for. The big cameos. C-3PO! No lines. You just see him in the background talking to some people. It's like there, so it doesn't talk. And then political. Then we cut to where Leia is hanging out with her cousin here and some other kids. And a droid brings something to Leia. Leia thanks the droid, and the kid's like, "What are you thinking you're a droid for?" So we kind of keep seeing this thing that Leia loves droids. I don't know if that's evident in any of the other movies after this. I mean, she has she puts up a C-3PO. I don't really pick up that a connection to her droids. But so her cousin gives her crap, so she gives him a little crap, and then he starts putting her down, saying she's not a real Organa and all this stuff. And then she goes into this big thing, telling psychoanalyzing him all the way down, kind of hinting that she's tapping into some force powers, like force empathy, where she can kind of sense the person's feelings and all that kind of stuff. Puts the dude in his place after he's being a jackass. Which leads to Bale and Bale confronting Leia about things. A nice little father-daughter speech where he says, no matter what, you are my daughter, and you're going to be this great person. It's going to, all the people of the planet are going to come to look forward to for leadership and all this stuff until they get blown up. Gone. But he wants her to come downstairs and apologize. Instead of that, she runs off into the woods again, where we run into Flea for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. He's our mysterious stranger in the woods. So Flea is in the Star Wars universe. So he's there waiting for Leia, and he has a couple other goons with him, and they begin chasing her through the woods, chasing after her in what has to be one of the dumbest chase scenes of all time. Like, she ducks, so you got these bad guys chasing her, and she'll like duck under a branch, and they'll stop at the branch like, "Oh, you cut me off." It's a little kid. It can't be really that hard for you guys to run her down. I mean, these obstacles she's ducking under should not be that big of a stand back for some of these guys. So it was like a really weird chase scene, but they end up capturing her, and then they end up capturing her, kidnapping her. Then we go back to Obi's home. He gets a phone call. Or, sorry, there's a chase scene there. Sorry. So, yeah, the awkward chase scene. It's just really silly. This was kind of a silly part of the episode because it just felt like a Home Alone kind of chase scene. But Obi-Wan back at his place gets a phone call. A hologram call from Bale and his wife here, begging for him to come in and help them with Leia. He doesn't want to help. He said, "You're giving him a go get these guys to help you. Get these guys. I gotta watch the boy." And they're like, "Well, she's just as important to the boy. You have a duty to help. Take care of her too." But he's like refusing to help. Yeah, it's kind of showing that he has no faith in himself. He's broken down. And then we go to the next scene shows Obi ending another day of work. He goes to, as he's walking back through the city of Mos Eisley, you see our Jedi guys just kind of like hanging from a pillar. My assumption was he was dead. I assumed he was dead. They were just hanging him there as a message. Maybe he appeared to be dead to me. He returns home. His little alarm gives him alert that someone's there. Ends up being Bale, has now shown up in person to beg him to plead with him to help, and pretty much gets on him about being down on himself and told him, you can't blame himself for Anakin and all this kind of stuff, and gets on him a little bit there. We do see a couple of scenes. There's a few little intermittent scenes with showing the Leia on the ship with the kidnappers. Then we come back to Tatooine. Obi's out in the desert. He digs up the box of 2 lightsabers. Now, if you're a Star Wars fan, this is pretty obvious. I actually saw an article on Facebook, an article written explaining who the second lightsaber belonged to. This is like, yeah, if you need that, that answer. You're really not a Star Wars fan. I mean, it's obviously Anakin's lightsaber. It's the lightsaber he's going to give to Luke in A New Hope. So you see him dig up the lightsabers. Then we cut back to the bounty hunter ship again, and we find out that the plan was made by... Oh, I forgot to mention earlier. So when she was doing the whole Threat and Lars thing, the 5th brother actually called her Reva. Grand Inquisitor's called Grand Inquisitor. 5th brother's always called 5th brother. But now we get a name for the 3rd sister. Her name is Reva. I find that kind of weird that she gets a real name. More on her story soon. So it's pretty much she set up this whole plan to kidnap. She dug up that. And we get this famous line that we hear Leia also brings up in The New Hope, which I actually want to call some stuff on that too. She once again reiterates the Jedi's hunt themselves kind of thing that Grand Inquisitor did earlier. But she brings up that they kidnapped Bale's daughter because Bale and Obi-Wan fought together in the Clone Wars and felt that there was a connection that would implore him to help. Remember, Leia also brings up, "You fought with my father in Clone Wars." Here's my question. When did Kenobi and Bale fight together in the Clone Wars? Bale was a senator during the Clone Wars, and Kenobi was obviously leading armies. But I'm trying to think, in the Clone Wars animated show, was there ever an episode of Bale in a fight scene? Or was there even an episode where Bale and Obi-Wan Kenobi were even next to each other? A lot of the episodes of the show, he was more interacting with Padme-themed episodes, if I remember correctly. So I'm trying to remember. I don't actually know if him and Kenobi actually fighting anything together in the Clone Wars, outside of just being on the same team. They were on the same team. They didn't really do much together, but just a little pet peeve I thought about. So we go back to Tatooine. Kenobi's looking at the freighter he's about to, he's got aboard, and he's considering if he's going to do it or not. He ends up doing it, and as he pulls back to show his pocket, you see he's wearing his lightsaber. So he's kept the lightsaber, and that's how the first episode ends on the scene of him going and boarding the ship. Strong first episode. The Grand Inquisitor's look seems a little... I don't know. The Grand Inquisitor just does not fit me the right way. The fifth brother, I think, looks really good. Third sister, for the most part, in this episode, I thought she was okay for the most part. I'm going to have some buffs problems with her in the next one. But so far, it was a very solid for opening thing. They're showing Kenobi is pretty much gone full against the Jedi beliefs and turned himself away from the Force and all that stuff. Like I said, Grand Inquisitor, that one just felt a little weird. His look is a little off. The way he's portrayed is a little off. I believe if I heard correctly, the actor playing him didn't refuse to watch any of the Clone Wars episodes. Or Rebels episodes, I mean. So that kind of about that. But so that does kind of give him a different feel. But we got the same actor that played Owen in the prequels to do his part. So pretty good job, though, staying nostalgic with a lot of stuff there. So let's go to the second episode. Second episode starts with Kenobi exiting the ship on the planet Dayu, which kind of looks, says mining, kind of like Hong Kong, kind of like city kind of city. So he's in Hong Kong, and we're ready. Here we go. We got another appearance, another famous returner from the prequels coming back. It's Tamara Morrison, Boba Fett, the Clone Troopers. He's just pretty much playing some like poor homeless clone trooper begging for money on the streets, which is kind of cool. It's really cool. You can just use this one actor to play all kinds of different parts. So he might, because there's even shot, you never know, he might show up in Ahsoka as Rex. Well, the Rex would have to be super old by then. Kind of see what he looked like with the beard, though. So he just shaved the head and gave him the beard. So he's kind of almost Rexish in that shot there. It's blue armor. I'm pretty sure it's not Rex. So pretty cool cameo. I thought that was, nice, cool way that in. And then they did some real clever shot because like in Kenobi, because like he says something to Kenobi and Kenobi recognizes the voice and then obviously brings back PTSD kind of thing. I'm gonna be like, what the hell, clone trooper? And then Kenobi like gives him some credits and turns around and instantly runs into a couple stormtroopers. I thought that was a real clever scene showing the old and what replaced them. Very, very clever cinematography there on that. Really like that a lot. Then we get another really cool, fun cameo. Ewan McGregor's daughter makes the cameo as a spice pusher. So kind of going back, a little drug salesman. And Kenobi says he's looking for information. He's looking for his daughter that was kidnapped. It's kind of funny. He's having this chat with his actual daughter. And she's like, oh, you should just deal with the fact you're never going to see him again. I was once somebody's daughter, too. And she like, gave him spice, like, here, a couple of these things, you'll forget they ever existed. So I thought that was kind of clever to have his daughter cameo and give a speech about daughters. After that scene, some little kid comes up, says that, there's a Jedi. There's a Jedi that helps people. And we get to see another one of our big casting here is Kumail Nanjiani. I think I'm saying that right. Obviously, I think we last saw him in Eternals. He's done some comedy stuff before. So we see him with like a mother and a daughter, and he's waving his hands and closing the window shutters the claw, and then he does pick that thing, cause like a little walkie-talkie transmitter thing to fly into his hand, and he does like act like he's doing this mind trick thing. Kenobi snuck in and was watching. It's not hard to tell that he's fake. This is obviously felt like a con job right off the bat, that this was a fake job. And he helps the family. They give him a bunch of credits. And then Kenobi confronts him. And Kenobi ends up pulling a blaster on him, which is not civilized at all, Kenobi. So kind of shows our Kenobi that, where he's even got himself to use a blaster now. which was, he was always against blasters in the past. So he confronts the guy about being a con artist, and then makes him give him some information to help him find Leia. Which leads them to a spice meth lab. Where Kenobi mugs a guy, steals their so he goes all Breaking Bad here, gets like a little outfit on and sneak into the lab. He causes a diversion to distract the guards so he can sneak into the back, where he gets confronted with 2 guards, and we get a Darth Maul Easter egg as he runs into a species that is of the same one as Darth Maul belongs to. Gets into a physical scrap, ends up taking down the 2 guys, but they do get some licks on him, so it kind of shows that he is out of let's see what's the word I'm looking for. Not out of training, I guess. Out of shape, out of skill, out of his. Kenobi used to be a pretty skilled fighter, even without the lightsaber, I would say. And these guys got some licks on him. Supposedly made him bleed. I didn't think it was from the nose, but there's like scenes where it was bleeding, scenes I think where it wasn't. So it ends up being a trap. They lead him to a cell. It ends up being it's like a trap. He gets confronted. He finds out that the Reva set up the whole plan, and she's on her way there to get him. He uses the spice as a way to break free, and goes and finds Leia, who tries to run from him. I like the cinematography of it because he's almost kind of looked like "You're my only hope" thing towards her there. So I kind of thought that was also really clever cinematography. We also get a little bit of their, kind of Leia confronting someone that comes in to rescue her, thinking they're one of the bad guys. A little tall for a stormtrooper, We also have seen that Reva is on the planet. I guess we can call her that now. Kenobi escapes with Leia, and they're running their way. They're trying to change clothes and working their way. Meanwhile, Grand Inquisitor, 5th brother, and now we get to see the 4th sister. I believe she's the one that was like really good with droids and stuff. Show up and confront Reva about kidnapping a senator's daughter. About that being, she's convinced that she found in the archives that Bale and Kenobi had a connection. He gets a little mad that she didn't bring that to him, and that she tried to do it. That's when he finds out that she's trying to get favor with Lord Vader. And then we get a little something that. So first we get her name, which kind of was, why are we getting her name and no one else is called that? But then, the Grand Inquisitor does this whole put down on her, saying she's beneath them. She's never going to be one of them. She's came from the gutter, and kind of like, why are we getting this tear down of this character? Are we? Says almost like, please don't do it. Like Kenobi's going to turn her good or something like that. She needs to stay the villain the whole way, and Kenobi needs to slice her down at the end of the show. You can't. No face turn here. You can't do that. That would be terrible, and that would kind of ruin a lot of the show. Just to try and we can't make the female bad guy be all bad, so we gotta find a way that we could save her, make her good again. So I was like, I would really hate if they do that. But he takes over the hunt for Kenobi and dismisses her. So what we get is Kenobi and Leia are obviously working their way through the streets. They run into a bounty hunter, takes out where Kenobi takes it out. Him and Leia keep having these nice little chats. She analyzes him at one point, and he kind of showing it. Once again, she's got that forced sympathy kind of stuff. Also, Reva has put out on the side. Reva put out a bounty to all the bounty hunters for them to find Kenobi as well, which leads to them fighting a bounty hunter in an alley, taking him out. Supposedly he contacted Bale about saving Leia, and they'll have her home soon. And then his puck goes off, and it's showing the Kenobi's wanted poster pretty much. He's trying to stable it. Leia comes over and sees it. She kind of starts seeing it. Seeing he's not who he thinks he is. She already felt he was hiding something. Once she not sure if he's a Jedi, if he's the kidnapper. She even says at one point, "This is all about you. They were using me to get to you," kind of thing. Which I think she said that at the beginning, and then she kind of went some other stuff. I was like, you were right the first time, so I don't know why you changed it off. So she takes off running from Kenobi. He starts chasing her to the shops and all that kind of stuff. Another weird chase scene where he looks like he probably could easily catch her a lot quicker. He has to do a couple fights on the long way. She ends up climbing on the roof and running from him on the roof. He's chasing after her on the roof, where he starts getting attacked by, first it was like a bounty hunter we saw earlier. Kind of looks like a velociraptor humanoid. We also gets joined by, so the raptor shooting at main roof, and then we get Forlom. No, just kidding. A bounty hunter looks a lot like Forlom, which I guess his name is Ijack, from I believe as Deborah Chow said. So I guess Forlom's got to be somewhere else, so you can't have him know that. So while they're fighting on the roof, we have Reva, who's hanging out on the roof. She starts seeing the blaster fire going back and forth. So we get her doing some forced parkour across the rooftops that just looked a little much. She's like doing like these weird like parkour moves. I don't think she really would need to do that. So she's climbing the rooftops to get to them, which from this screen it doesn't look like she's that horribly far. But for some reason it's going to take a long time. So Kenobi takes out the raptor guy. Leia tries to make a jump and misses. Grabs like onto a clothesline kind of thing, and then starts falling. She can't hold on. She starts falling, and then we get Kenobi uses the Force to catch her. He is reconnected to the Force. Catches her, lowers her to the ground, meets her down there, and then she now changes and now believes he is a real Jedi. Then we see where they're trying to where they get to the port, and there's the Inquisitors there, and they're trying to figure out what to do. And our buddy, too far. Kamali shows up again, says he's here to help. He goes, "Yeah, I like credits and everything like that, but I gotta make it. I am a good person. I do help people, and I want to make up for my sins. If I knew who you were, I would have helped you easier." So he gives him some options to go to an automated cargo ship where it doesn't, I guess, ship people, it just ships cargo, so that they can go up there and get there and escape through there. So it pretty much says, "Hey, I'm here." He's like, "You have no other choice but to trust me and let me help you." He also is the guy who takes out the Ijack bounty hunter that was sneaking up on him before he announces himself. So they start heading that way. Then we cut back to the Grand Inquisitor as he's confronting Flea, and he ends up killing Flea. The cool part about this is the first time we see the use of the twirling Inquisitor lightsabers. So big first scene there. Then Reva finally gets to the end of the parkour thing. This parkour thing she did took forever. And she gets confronted by Kamali's fake Jedi, where he pretends to be the fake Jedi again. She sees right through it, throws him against the wall, and uses the Kylo mind read trick where she can read his brain, read his thoughts to find out where Kenobi is. We see Kenobi and Leia get to the cargo fight, and they're talking and about he don't trust people, and she's like, "You gotta trust people," and she gives this big power speech, which reminds him of Padme, and he starts talking about Padme a little bit as his friend. Doesn't exactly say who Padme is for her, but kind of saying how she's having a little Padme moment. Then Reva shows up and ruins it. She's hunting Kenobi lightsaber. He sends Leia to the cart. Go ahead and jump on the cargo ship while she's hunting him. And while she's hunting him, she reveals that she's not here to kill him. He's not going to die yet. She's taking him to Lord Vader, which then causes Kenobi to get this freak out thing. She says, "Oh, I guess," and she's reading his emotions during this whole scene too. She goes, "Oh, you didn't know Anakin Skywalker is still alive." So Kenobi's having a panic attack. For this case, we had a little nitpick. This is a big gripe. 10 years has passed. Okay, so I was thinking, maybe people don't realize that Lord Vader and Anakin Skywalker are the same person. I think they did try to keep that under wraps. But when she said Lord Vader, it does seem like Anakin recognized who Lord Vader was. So he doesn't know that Darth Vader is out there still. After 10 years, I mean, Darth Vader in those 10 years is supposed to have been hunting Jedi's, training Inquisitors, and all this stuff. So it's like, are you trying to say that Vader's not done anything, that people don't realize he's out there as Lord Vader? So that definitely bothered me a little bit on that part, because it's like, he should have already known that Lord Vader exists. I mean, it did look like he freaked out when he recognized Lord Vader was Anakin. I'm not sure. I guess he did kind of know that himself. The fact that she also knew that Lord Vader was Anakin Skywalker was also kind of weird. Like I said, I thought that, he was keeping that under, they weren't making that well-known knowledge. So all that part kind of strike me a little weird that they went that far with that. So I was like, no. Then the Grand Inquisitor shows up, confronts Reva, and again saying that she's going to have to screw up and that he's taking over. She needs to step aside and let him show her how it's done, which then leads to a big controversial part. Reva stabs the Grand Inquisitor with the lightsaber, pulls it out, drops to the ground, and she makes like a little one-liner smirk, like, who's in the gutter? I don't like that person. She's kind of some parts of that personality I'm not liking from her. But the bigger news is what the hell, guys? This guy's in canon that takes place after the show. I'm thinking they're gonna have the setup that he survives this. Because if she killed him off, then that just completely screws over the show Rebels, which has a lot of Grand Inquisitor in it. And yeah, you can't like just say a animated series or comic books are canon, and then just completely say, "Well, we're not going to use them now," because like that you just told people to not. What's the point of watching your animated stuff if it's not actually as connected as you say it was? So he's got to be alive. So my other thoughts is that he's got to have to. We'll show that he survived, because otherwise they just screwed up a ton of other stuff. But she pulls the lightsaber out. He kind of crumbles to the ground. So I don't know. I'm just gonna go with that. They're gonna show that he's still alive, because he's got to make it. He's got to survive the show. Meanwhile, this is going on. Kenobi uses his way to go run for the cargo ship, jump on and escape. With Reva chasing after him, saying, "We will find you." Blah 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 blah. So as they're flying off, you see we see big hint there. Kenobi kind of having like a panic attack on the ship, and he says, "Anakin." And then we cut to a figure in a back to tank, with the Darth Vader breathing going on. So we see finally the cameo everybody's wanting to see: Hayden Christensen's return as Vader. And that's where we end this episode 2 on, is the Vader reveal. So that was, I really like that. I thought that was really nicely done on that. Overall, I really liked the show. Really, I thought I'm loving it. I'm loving the show. I love it. Ewan McGregor's performance is great. A lot of the other stuff's great. The only, like I said, the Grand Inquisitor thing is kind of really bothered me a little bit there. Just because it's good, you can't get over that. The fact that this whole like reveal that Anakin is alive and Lord Vader is looking for him, and they should know Vader should have been very active for the last 10 years doing stuff. So it's not like Vader was like in a back to tank for 10 years. So that part kind of is weird that Kenobi was kind of surprised by that. The Leia appearance was a surprise I didn't expect. I mean, it makes sense story-wise. You can't have them, because obviously they don't know who Luke is, to go kidnap them. But, kidnapping Bail Organa's daughter to draw Kenobi out is a good plan, but bad long run, because now that, wouldn't they just do it again? wouldn't Vader himself now use Leia as a bait and switch thing? So you're kind of making that connection does mess up some stuff because you just told the Inquisitors and Vader that this plan works. You can bring Kenobi out of hiding with this. So I kind of see that as a plot hole kind of thing. Now our main villain chick is. At times I like her a lot. At times I don't like what I kind of think they're doing with the character. The whole she's trying to show off because she's considered. They treat her like she's less than them, and she wants to be bigger. As long as it's not used to turn her good or have her like turn against all the Inquisitors, that would be kind of stupid. So I'm kind of curious about where that might be going. The character itself at times can be really good. At times, kind of doesn't seem like she fits into like a Sith persona. She's like I said, she's kind of, I don't know if I'd call them quips, but she's kind of still making some weird smirks sometimes, smart comments sometimes, like who's in the gutter now, and so it's like some of that stuff is like, I don't think that's a little over the top. I don't think she needs to be doing that. She don't feel like an Inquisitor too much all the way there. But hopefully they keep her bad, so Kenobi needs to slice her down at some point. So, boom. As long as that happens, I'm good. Love the show. Overall, I would say the show's 8-ish, 9-ish. Like I said, the only big flaws I have is like if it messes up continuality and for the rest of Star Wars, like Rebels. You can't be bringing all the Rebel characters into the Ahsoka live-action show and basing that on her chasing after looking for Ezra and Grand Admiral Thrawn. And then just say, well, you remember how those episodes where they fight the Grand Inquisitor? Well, he was dead. So, as long as they don't butcher the canon there, but then the show's super solid. So, really liked it. Can't wait for the next. So, keep an eye out down below for when we do episode 3. And yeah, I'm getting. So, until next time, Kachuro out.